nurse wanted to give me a red one, and I said, no, look, I think it, I'm kind of obvious enough in the street, so I don't need a bright red cast as well. So it's like, and the hospital is like 15 minutes walk away, so it's like where I live now, so it's perfect. Couldn't have been better. So it's okay. So the way we're going to do this, because as I just already mentioned, it is a tantric practice. And when we do tantric practices, kind of what it implies, or what comes as a prerequisite for that, is that you have generated renunciation, bodhicitta, and a good view of emptiness. Kind of meaning when we talk about bodhicitta and about emptiness, a good view that there are two levels of existence in a way. There is the conventional level, and then there is the ultimate level, which are just one entity, but they're not the same, they're different. But every phenomena has these two levels. And, if you want to know more about this, His Holiness this morning actually was talking on Chandrakirti's Middle Way. You have every Sunday, Geshe Mahu is teaching you on, entering the Middle Way and all this. Because for this to work, for this, Nitan, you have to close your microphone, I think. So for this to work, I mean, it's really important that you understand about these two levels. Is that, on the conventional level, although it appears as really true and really that's the way it is, it appears as real, but it's not true. This is, I think, from Mingyu Rinpoche. It says it in such a nice way. Looks real, but it's not true. So all our suffering, all our actions, all what we think, I, others, this and that, it looks totally real and we get caught up in it, but it's not true. So the same way as when we dream, we have all the emotions and we act and we get angry or happy or whatever, even sexual arousement when nobody is there. And so there we see the power of our mind, how our mind is able to produce a reality that is not real, is not true. But because we mistake it as being real, then that's it. Then we react and then we create karma. And so when we hear about karma, so this is another thing, in order for the purification to work, it's really good also to have like a basic understanding of what karma is. Now, having said all this about, bodhicitta, renunciation, bodhicitta, emptiness, the two levels of existence, karma, and all this, don't just run away and say, oh no, I don't know any of this, so it's not for me. No, you can still listen, but it's still just for you to know that it's good to have some kind of idea about all these things, right? So now here I'm in the gallery view, and I'm already creating a lot of attachment here by seeing how many people participate that I know, but I won't mention anybody, I think, so that nobody else gets jealous. So, wow, she didn't see me. She only saw this other one that I don't like. So why is she doing why is she doing this? So, but I'm very happy to see you all, even the ones I don't know yet, or I don't recognize because you have, because you have like Hebrew names or something. So it's okay. So we can do purification, anybody can do this, but if at least as a, if at least, I see that many of you are Buddhists and you know about these things, but for the others, if at least you can think, I want to purify what the negative karma that would bring me results that I really don't like, that I dislike. I want to do this, but not just for myself, but also for others, like that, that I can kind of, I'm not so under the control anymore of attachment, aversion, and indifference, so that whoever meets me will be of benefit to them, instead of, creating an unhappy state of mind, or hurting them, or for them getting angry because I didn't do what they want me to do, and all this. Again, coming back to this, it doesn't mean you have to do whatever people want you to do. It doesn't mean that you're not becoming a doormat when you become a Buddhist, or when you do things like this, or when you adhere to those principles, or to these values. But you kind of, when you act with other people, it's really good to think that, may I act with other people? You can go both ways, right? You can go as if they are my parents, but that doesn't work so well sometimes, because some people have problems with their parents and rather not see them. Luckily not so many, but some. But if you could think, whomever I meet, when I engage with them, may I see them as my children, even if they're older. I think that works better, because for your own children, you have this natural love for them, this affection. And even if you have to be firm with them, even if you have to make them do what they don't want to do, or what they dislike to do, it is always like the motivation why you do this is always for their benefit, isn't it? I need a note maybe, so that I know that you are with me. So, even like bodhicitta, if you never heard the word, this is like, it's the attitude that me, myself, I want to be free from being under the control of my unhelpful emotions, so that I'm not getting reborn again and again and again and again and again. But not just for me, myself, but because I receive so much kindness from others. If that is too kind of, but I mean, another argument would be, or another reason, because I depend so much on others. For every second of our life, so many beings have to do their job properly, their work, so that we can have the life that we're having at the moment. And we totally forget, It's only when maybe the water tap doesn't work, we get upset about the plumber. But when we open it and it works, how many times do you say thank you to all the people who have been involved since many, many years, who invented taps and pipes in the wall. So all we have to do is just open the tap. Yeah. The way it looks when you open the tap is as if this tap grew into the wall, and the house grew by itself, and all the clothes we're wearing, and especially, I guess it's hot now in Israel, so maybe the air condition and all this. We think that it's just, well, it's there, I pay for it, it's mine, so why should I be grateful, and all this. But being grateful is, and being aware of this, especially I think now in Corona time. You see so many people complain about loneliness. We're being totally lonely, such an illusion. You only have to get rid of your, like, mentally, okay? Don't take a hammer now, but you only have to think that all the walls are disappearing, all the walls of the houses, all the mountains where we can see other people, all the trees, all the other things that obstruct our view is disappearing. And then you see, I'm never alone. I am constantly surrounded by millions and millions and millions of beings. So then when we say, yeah, but I don't know them, they don't know me, or maybe they dislike me, okay, fine. But then you can think, like when you look at your objects that you're using, you think behind these objects are sentient beings who have made these objects. Without them, I wouldn't be able to enjoy them. And then I tell you, really, and then that's already this gratitude. This is a very good attitude. And connection. Because I am connected to these people that I'm using the computer so we can do these things. I'm definitely connected to them. Even I don't know them. I don't know who they are. And then comes, away from self-concern, we go into, oh, may I be able to do something for them? Or if you work in some places and you produce things, may I do my job properly also, so that whoever is going to use this object, will be able to enjoy it? Or may they be just very simple? Whoever, was involved in making this computer, may they be happy, may they be well, may they be peaceful, may they be at ease. And I almost guarantee you, maybe not the first time, but I almost guarantee you, if you continue to do this, your loneliness, even if you are in lockdown and you think nobody likes you or whatever, it will maybe not disappear, because we have this thing, but people have to like me, they have to tell me how wonderful I am, because otherwise I'd have low self-confidence and I don't believe how wonderful I am, and all these kinds of things. Do you suffer from this a little bit? Not trusting our own goodness, not connecting every time with this, when we feel a bit down, to think, hey, but I'm a good person. My nature is goodness. We forget this, isn't it? And then we feel low and and this and that. But at least when you think like this, may I be able to do something for them, or just even, may they be happy, may they be at ease. This already kind of can reduce your loneliness, and then it reduces our self-centeredness. And the more we have self-centeredness, the more my problem becomes really big. The more we really have this attitude without agenda, okay? Not because you want people to like you, not because you want to have a good reputation, but if we really have this attitude, whomever I meet, may I be of benefit to them, right? And to leave a good impression when you go. Like, it was really amazing when I had the accident and I fell. I just fell, it's like it happens really quickly. And so we went to urgency, which was quite close to where I live now since 2 weeks. And the nurse who was doing the cast, she was quite grumpy, because I wanted to help her, like with the other hand, but this thing is very sticky. It's resin. I don't know if you know it. It weighs absolutely nothing, but it's very sticky when they put it on, and then it has to dry. It dries in 5 minutes. So she really scolded me. I should take my fingers off and my hands off, and she can do this by her own and all this. But I wasn't taken aback. I just tried to make her feel a bit more comfortable and a bit more at ease. And I told her, I said, but this is a reflex. It's like, I'm not doing this to impress you. It's just a reflex. I see that, this thing is pending and I want to help you. And then she started to understand, and I really tried to make her laugh. I was telling a lot of jokes. And so when she gave me this band, this black band where you put the hand in, she said, oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't fit your costume, because it was black. She didn't have any red ones. So I said, oh, so you see that I'm wearing a costume. Do you recognize the costume? And this area here is very, very Catholic, okay? So she says, yeah, maybe something Buddhist. So I told her that I was a Buddhist nun. And all of a sudden she changed. She totally changed her attitude. And she was she went to see the doctor, and she said, like, we have a Buddhist nun here in the urgency, and and this and that. So you see, when we react to the grumpiness of somebody else, we close up. It doesn't really help them. But when somebody is grumpy, instead of taking it personally, because they're tired and they're overworked and all this, and you kind of open up your heart and you have this attitude, oh, how can I make her a little bit happier? Not for you, yeah, so that she treats you in a better way, but for her. Then one thing, at least, if it doesn't work, never mind, it's okay, but at least you tried. But also you don't get hurt anymore when she's grumpy and maybe she's not so polite or whatever. It's not a big problem in Israel, I know, when people are grumpy and not so polite. It's a huge problem in Switzerland, yeah, because we are told to be polite to others, and when they're not, then and usually the nurses are really nice and really kind, but this one was kind of a little bit, but she was not in a bad state. So this whole thing about doing this practice and purification, if you have, because we don't have time to go into bodhicitta and renunciation and all this, at least if that could be your attitude, not just for myself, but really to be able to also to be able to have this I don't know, to have this kind of natural kindness that we have to, some people maybe have it, but I didn't have it. I really had to work at it. And it's thanks to Buddhist teachings that, thanks to the methods, that I was, it kind of starts to work better and better and more. And I can see it's like so much easier to make contact with people that you don't know. People all of a sudden start to talk to you that didn't talk to you before, or something like that, when you have this attitude. Do you see what I'm trying to get at here? Yeah, and your life becomes much easier, really. But it's, instead of every time reacting, which we do because we have these instincts, because when we go out of the house, we have a little bit of an expectation that everybody should be nice to me, isn't it? Like, this is what we expect. And then when they're not, then we kind of start to get upset. And then our good mood is already a little bit out of the window. So I was asked by the Dharma friends to do, because it's the new year and it's a new beginning, to do Vajrasattva practice. Because when we talk about karma, it's like one good thing to know, and that we keep forgetting, is that we don't have total control over our mind. Yeah, we might have a good intention to be kind to others and not to react with anger and this and that. We're full of good, what to say in English? Good intentions. We're full of good intentions, but then, the situation occurs and we totally react in a different way. So it's really good to understand that karma means action. So when we do actions, it creates kind of two different things. It creates imprints, it creates potentials, maybe it's a better word. It creates a potential that the same thing will happen to us, or maybe even bigger, because karma increases also, they say, or maybe more than just one time. Yeah. So that's the thing we're most afraid of, but that's not so bad. If it would be like this, I'm unkind to Leora. I'm taking Leora a prize because I already kind of mentioned her. So also, although there's also Leora Kenneth, and I see there's Ronnie sitting next to her. So here we go. So like, I'm unkind to Leora, and then, she's unkind to me, and then finished, it's okay, isn't it? I mean, it's like you get something and you don't pay for it, and but you have to pay for it. Like, you go to a shop, you take something and you have to pay for it. So then you can walk out of the shop with a good conscience. So if that would be the only way that karma works, it would be okay, really, because I hurt somebody, or I'm kind to somebody, something comes back, finish the story. But karma also, these potentials, they also ripen in terms of habit and tendencies. And this is what we keep forgetting. And then we get upset about ourselves because we have all these good intentions, but we don't succeed. So this is why we do these purifications. And this is why we use the four opponent powers, in order to purify both potentials, like the potential that something is coming back, like us getting the experience that is similar or same to the action. But we also purify, and this is what we have to be more afraid of, is the tendency. Because when we have a tendency, we create more and more imprints of the same kind. So we only have to be afraid of this for the unhelpful, unskillful imprints. I try not to say negative because it's not such a good word, but unskillful in terms of this potential will ripen as something that I will dislike, right? That will make me suffer, or that I will dislike. Whereas the positive or the skillful actions, we don't have to be afraid of them, but we also can rejoice by thinking, oh, this kind of action now, if possible, without an agenda, okay? Like, thinking that it will give me a good result doesn't mean your intention is to have a good result. Yeah. So also don't mistake that, thinking, yeah, but I want to mitzvahs, right? I want to do a mitzvah, but without kind of calculating that something will come back. But you can still be aware of it and you can still do it. So it's not that one implies the other. Okay. But I think sometimes it's really good to know also to think, oh, okay, I succeeded not to I succeeded to be kind to somebody who was unkind, and then to think, wow, I've strengthened or nourished my potential to be kind, so that at one point in our lives, maybe not this one, maybe only next one, or I don't know how many, very naturally, we will act in a kind way, the same way as you act with your children. So this is something that we need to want, right? Not just thinking that, oh yeah, but being kind, then who knows what will happen to me, and people will take advantage of me. They will think I'm a coward. I will become the friar, which you will maybe in Israel. But it's only in Israel, if I tell somebody in Switzerland, you're such a friar, they go like, huh? It's like, no idea. Yeah, it's just a name. It's just a label that has become very real and very, very true and this and that. So if you're afraid of this, then maybe this is not so much for you, right? But if you see the value of kindness, if you see the power of love and kindness, how we can transform everything with these kind of positive attitudes, then I would say this practice is for you. Is this more or less clear until now? Right. So then I opened the screen. If it's not clear, just kind of open your microphone and say something. Okay, all clear? Because now with the text, I can't see all of you anymore, just a few. Okay, so you can see the text. Yes, you can see the picture. So this is Vajrasattva. Now again, all the Buddhas are basically the same. They're not omnipotent, okay? They cannot by themselves just purify your negative karma and that's it. You have to do most of the work yourself. So, and this is why we call them the four opponent powers. Now, why are we taking Vajrasattva? You can take any Buddha to do purification, but it is said, all these Buddhas here, they have been bodhisattvas at one point, and then it's like when you go to university and you choose a certain branch. So the medicine Buddha, who is now the medicine Buddha, when he was a bodhisattva, he said, I will be the one healing sicknesses, mental and physical sicknesses. Tara, she kind of say, I will help people with their activities. Chandresik is the one that we use, is the Buddha of compassion. Manjushri is the Buddha for wisdom, and all of this. They're all the same thing. They all have universal wisdom, universal compassion, universal love, and universal skillful means. Yeah, what it means when they manifest in different aspects like this is so that for us we trust them better that they do this particular thing. So again, your mind has to do the job, right? So the more you trust that your negative karma is getting purified, the more it works. Now, trust again, difficult thing, because we only trust when we have the trust or the faith of experience. But you will not have it before you do it. Yeah, so we just need the trust to kind of say, okay, I will try this out. If it works, fine. If it doesn't work, nothing lost. So if you made already a donation to the Dharma Friends, and then you think that this day didn't work at all, then please ask it back and say, look, didn't work. I want my money back. That's fine. Don't be afraid of that. So, again, it depends so much on attitude. Also, this practice of generosity, you're not paying for anything. You just want to give something back. So, me from my side, I'm so happy to be able to offer this without having any expectations that something will come back. So then it's really the practice of generosity. If you don't have this attitude that you're paying for what you're getting, then because you want to give something, then also you practice the practice of generosity. Otherwise, it's not, otherwise, how is it going to be a practice of generosity if you have the attitude of that you're paying for it? So it's a little bit like this. So it depends all on your attitude and on your trust, because nothing exists from its own side. This is why your mind is really creating reality. And so that's why, so we can manipulate everything. So basically the whole thing, especially Tantra, is like placebo, right? So, medicine, placebo, when people believe that what they are swallowing is like really powerful, but actually it is just sugar or salt or this and that. Now, the difference between the medical placebo and the tantric placebo, or even the Dharma placebo, is like, we all know that placebo works. We all know that placebo has an effect, right? So then the Dharma starts to work, that even though it doesn't exist from its own side, it still works. Okay? So when you start to think about emptiness, and then you start to think, okay, nothing exists from its own side, everything is manipulable, so I will just manipulate everything into something positive. It will not work if you haven't realized emptiness. Then you're just fooling yourself in an even more, worse way, by thinking, oh, I can do whatever I want because everything doesn't exist the way that it appears from its own side. So we have to be careful. There is a conventional reality where suffering is suffering, unhappiness is unhappiness, and happiness is happiness, and kindness is kindness, and all this. So Vajrasattva Buddha, he is the one who is helping us with the most powerful one in this case, who is helping us with the in purifying the karmic imprints that we have created. It will not purify something that has already ripened. It will purify the potentials for situations that lie ahead of us, which will result in suffering. So you don't really feel so much when you do purification meditation, right? Because it purifies something that hasn't grown into big suffering yet. It just purifies the potential of it. So it's a little bit like, I always use the same example. It's a bit like, you remember Fukushima is when they had this atomic fallout, right? So people who would live in that area, they knew that now there's something, because they have been contaminated, they have been in contact with this, that now there's something in their body that will result in, cancer or all these other unpleasant things. So if there would have been an antidote, even though the people didn't feel something right at the beginning, also Chernobyl, if there would have been an antidote, I'm sure people would have taken it. When a scientist comes and says, look, you have been contaminated now through this atomic fallout, but this is the antidote, please take it. Everybody would take it, I'm pretty sure. Well, most of the people would take it, I am pretty sure. Because why? Because we're afraid of the future suffering, right? So this is when we do purification, there needs to be a certain fear and a certain trust in the Buddha's teachings that every action that we do gives us a potential that will either, result into something that we really want or something that we don't want, or something more or less neutral, because there's also neutral karma. So if we have that faith, because of course you're not taking the antidote if you don't believe the scientists. If you say like, oh, look, but the air doesn't look different, it doesn't smell different, the water, the vegetables that I'm eating are still tasting the same way. If we don't trust the scientists, of course we're not taking, the antidote. Say like, what's the point? Or if you go to India and you drink contaminated water, you know, because you don't believe when people say don't drink the water because it will give you diarrhea. I mean, this is total stupidity. And you say, oh, you know, like this. So how can you trust the Buddha? The only way is you study the teachings and you start to apply it. Then you will trust the Buddha, and then you will also trust things that you can't check, meaning the working of karma. Yeah, this is with your intelligence, you will never get how karma works. Yeah, only a Buddha can really see. We can take, you know, we can understand the gross things, but we cannot really understand the smaller stuff. Okay, so much to that. And then now we look at the text again. And I make it a little bit bigger. So we will start the next set. We will have a short break, and then we do a session. So I'll make it a bit bigger, but we'll not go into details, maybe in the session itself. So one always starts by taking refuge. Again, if you're not a Buddhist and you don't know what I'm talking about, don't get upset. Just, you know, this is not the main point of the practice, but it's part of it. So we take refuge, then we think about the 3 scopes that we will go through in the Lam Rim teachings. I can make a bit of publicity here, so that's good. Where you will learn, you know, what these 3 scopes are. And then, so we do this as a preparation in order to be prepared. So we have then already kind of, we know about the nature of our human existence, which is in the nature of suffering, because everything leads to some kind of disappointment and like this. So the 4 opponent powers that we need in order to purify negative imprints, not the positive ones, of course, is like we need to know about that these potentials give 4 different results. So one potential kind of determines in what environment we will be born. So if it's a negative imprint, it's definitely not an environment that is easy to live with, where we are at ease, where it's very safe, you know, what we usually like, right? So that is the environmental result, right? So taking refuge and generating bodhicitta purifies that result. Yeah, so that we next time we're going to be reborn in a place where it's really easy to practice Dharma, where the path is very smooth and it's very quick and very fast. Of course, if you're very strong Dharma practitioner, then you wouldn't want to go to such a place where everything is too easy, because then we don't practice. Okay, so again, you know, everything has an advantage and a disadvantage. When we are in an environment where everything is very nice and very easy, we don't practice because we just enjoy. This is what many people do here in this area, because it's mountain area, so there's a lot of tourists, right? So just another short story is like, I just came yesterday from a retreat with Pakyap Rinpoche, about, you know, we did a Tara retreat for a few days. So at one point when he was talking about the suffering of humans, he started crying. And we were, you know, people were wondering, well, of course, it's just his compassion when he sees the suffering of all sentient beings. But I was saying, maybe he sees, you know, we were maybe 30 people in that retreat, a few on Zoom. And most of the people who are there, they come with their mountain bikes, they go paragliding, they go hiking, they go climbing, you know. And I said, maybe he sees, you know, he's so sad when he sees the, you know, the incredible conditions that these people would have at the moment to practice Dharma. And what are they doing? You know, they put their life in danger by climbing, paragliding, mountain biking, and all this. And this is all they do in their free time. And this really, His Holiness also, you can see, it really makes him sad when he sees how we human beings waste our time. Instead of purifying and instead of creating causes for liberation, we just, you know, are interested in pleasure. So a little bit like this. So so Switzerland is definitely an environment that the karmic result must have been really, really positive, because it is such an incredible country to live in. And all the lamas say it when they come, you know. is so safe, and it's like the social system is so good, and there's so much kindness everywhere. There's very little aggression compared to other countries, and so on. Anyway, so that is so the environmental result gets purified through taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. So maybe we can just read this, the first thing here, where it says there's no negativity that cannot be purified. So there is no, so-called sins that you stuck with forever and ever and ever, that you have to experience the result. If you apply the four opponent powers, you can purify all of it. So the purification process is basically a psychological one. As Lama Yeshe says, it is our mind, and on the basis of that, our actions that create the negativity, and it is our mind that transforms it by creating positive energy. So the Buddha is not really doing that much. The Buddha is just giving us the methods, right? So although in Buddhism, we rely on Buddha's methods for the purification, it is not as if it's the Buddha purifying us or forgiving us. We ourselves, as Lama says, do the work. We purify by applying the four opponent powers. So the first one is power of regret. And again, please, it's not guilt, it's not shame. It is just a very sober, reasonable regret by saying shit. You can say shit, that's okay. I'm not supposed to say these words, but it's okay. Kind of, it gives it a bit of strength. You can say, shit, I shouldn't have done this. Why is not skillful? It doesn't bring anything in the present. Okay, it's not true, okay? Because if you act with anger to somebody who is maybe not giving you what you want or what they should give you, but again, anger doesn't mean strong words. Sometimes, especially in Israel, and I know you need to, or you think you need to use strong words or raise your voice in order to get what you need to get. This is what people think. I don't agree with it, but yeah, it's okay. This I don't know, because I don't live there, and I don't need anything. So I don't have to work with, deal with plumbers and internet and all these kind of telephone and all these kind of things. But in the future, it doesn't lead too much. This is what the Buddha would say. But anger means your attitude. Yeah, anger is you use strong words, you use insulting words, but your attitude is, I don't want this person to be happy. I want this person to suffer, or I want to force this person now to do what they have to do because of me. Anger is when you forget about the happiness of the other person. So that's an attitude. This is inside. It doesn't necessarily mean that when you use strong words or show an angry face that you have this attitude inside, okay? So by seeing that, and acting out of anger or in an unskillful way, just to have the regret from the depths of your heart, anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, in all past lives. Yeah, we can, it is good to contemplate the various actions that you remember having done, and then to regret all the things as well that you don't remember. The reason to regret is based on the understanding of karma, okay? That whatever we do with body, speech, and the mind, it creates potential. We cannot bear the thought of future suffering that we ourselves will experience due to the harm we have done to others. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And who wants that? Who wants to suffer? I mean, it's crazy. So we know from the present suffering that we do not want it. So the logic is therefore to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering. Yeah. So same way, as you have drunk poison, you know that you have drunk poison, even though you don't feel anything yet. If there is an antidote, you're going to swallow it. Now, the antidote for drinking poison is you put your finger here and then you vomit. And then the action of vomiting is very unpleasant, but you're very happy that you vomit, isn't it? So this is a bit like also, you can put that into the purification practice. When we purify, you don't need to feel good. You don't need to feel inspired. You don't need to feel full of light and full of love and very comfortable. You might feel very uncomfortable. You're full of resistance. You think like, what am I doing here? The main thing is that you do it, you know? So purifying is like sticking your finger in, knowing that we have swallowed poison through our negative actions. Okay, but it's not guilt and it's not shame. You know, please, nowhere does the Buddha teach about guilt and shame. I don't know why we always bring it in. Nowhere the Buddha says, you have to feel ashamed, you have to feel bad about yourself. Everywhere it says, trust your Buddha nature, trust your goodness. It is only covered, you know, but it's not your nature. So what we have to do, we have to get rid of these layers and layers and layers. But with guilt and shame, we just build more layers and more layers and more layers and more layers. Okay? So that's the first one. Then there's the power of reliance. So this, I already talked a little bit about this. And by the way, the power of regret purifies the potential to be reborn in a lower state. Okay, so then the power of reliance. So there are two parts of the step. Like we trust somebody, you know, as I said, you know, I don't want to go into coronavirus and vaccines, but if we would trust the scientists, you know, everybody would get vaccinated. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I am vaccinated, but I don't know if I can trust the scientists. But I got vaccinated also so that I don't end up in hospital in the emergencies, because in Switzerland, 90% of the people in the emergency rooms now are people who are not vaccinated. And it's work for the nurses and for the doctors who are already burned out. So it's, I mean, you know, we can do it with this attitude. Anyway, so then, so the power of reliance is refuge and bodhicitta. So we rely upon the doctor whose medicine we will take to purify our deluded actions, in this case, the Buddha. It is not that we need the Buddha to forgive us, rather we rely upon him by using his methods to purify ourselves, which means taking refuge. And we could spend a whole week on what is really taking refuge. But we don't have so much time. But again, also we talk about refuge in the Lamrim course. Then two, we also rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, by developing compassion for them. We make the wish to purify for their sake. All those we have harmed in this life and in the past, make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification so that from now on, we can only benefit others, not harm them. It's so important to purify the negative karma, because when we apply this, when we kind of train this attitude, I want to be of benefit to others, I tell you, shame and guilt is gone. You know, the self-concern is gone, because shame and guilt again comes from self-concern. Yeah. But when we think about how can I make others happy, we forget about, oh, I'm so bad, I never do anything good, what have I done? And we think about how can I make them happy, and we don't suffer so much anymore. I mean, it's psychology pure, you know, and this is why Lama Yeshe also, he always said, if you practice Buddhism, you learn to become your own therapist. And we apply these methods of psychotherapy, not all of them, but many of them, to strengthen our self-confidence, but not to get what we want, but in order to be of benefit to others. And then, you know, our ego totally grows. It becomes much bigger and much, much stronger, bigger in the sense of we are able to include others in our wanting happiness. You know, not, oh, I'm the biggest of all. Actually, your sense of I, me, separate from others, when you want to benefit others, it decreases. Yeah, it becomes very strong, but your heart totally opens. Yeah, and then you feel much better anyway. Okay, so then is, okay, so here then the other come only at the end. So we have two opponent powers, power of reliance and the power of regret. Now the power of action is then the power of, like, doing the visualization of Vajrasattva, and also then reciting the mantra. That would be the power of the action in this case. So that's a third opponent power. But there can, any positive action that you do with an awareness of wanting to purify negative potentials can be seen as a purification practice. If that attitude is missing, then you just create positive karma, or like skillful karma, that will result in suffering, and it doesn't kind of purify the negative one. Okay, so a bit like that. So this is why the attitude, I'm doing this because I want to purify, is necessary to be there, so that it, the thing gets purified into the mind. A bit like putting washing powder into the water in order to wash our dirty laundry. So this we will do like after the break, like the visualization, we go through it bit by bit, taking refuge. Then again, to open up the heart, the four immeasurable thoughts, they're so powerful. It's such a simple practice and it's so powerful. We do 7-limb prayer. Also, this is maybe more a little bit for Buddhists, also very powerful to purify negative karma, to create a lot of positive energy that we need in order to attain liberation and enlightenment. Mandala offering, don't worry so much about it when you haven't seen it. When you don't know what it is, it's just part of a sadhana. What we are going through here is a sadhana, meaning a manual how to do the practice, like an instruction manual, or like, a cooking recipe or something like that. Okay, so then the power of the antidote, which is what I said, is the power of the action. Is like the actual medicine, the doing of the actual practice of purification. So there's 3 stages to the meditation, and it consists of visualization and recitation of the mantra. So we will do, we purify body, actions of body, speech, and mind. And again, in the session that we will do that slowly, slowly. Each time we will recite the mantra. Maybe we just do it once aloud together. And then, because what is really important is not just the blah, 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 blah mantra thing, it's the visualization. So if you don't know the mantra by heart, it's very difficult, and you have to read, very difficult to visualize. Yeah. So I give you quite a bit of time to, you can stop saying the mantra and you visualize how these negativities are leaving the body in the session then. So purify body, speech, and mind, and then even the most subtle imprints. And then is the 4 opponent power, which is the power of the promise, or sometimes it's called the power of determination. So the 4th step in the purification process is such an important one. It is the determination not to harm with our body, speech, and mind again. Without this, we keep doing the same old things. So determination to not harm again is like a beacon that guides our body, speech, and mind in a new direction. If you actually vow to not do certain actions again for the rest of your life, fantastic. But then please be realistic. If you can vow not to do them again for a year, a month, a day, or even a minute, whatever is realistic, that's good enough. Then in general, vow to make the effort to avoid harming others. This determination not to do again is what gives us the strength to turn ourselves around. Okay, then at the end is the Vajrasattva absorbs into you. Again, if that feels uncomfortable because you're not a Buddhist, then don't do it. But basically, how we try to see Vajrasattva is the future result. It's kind of thinking, this is me, the future result of my practice. I will be then, through these practices, be able to manifest as Vajrasattva, serve as a basis or as a visualization for other beings to purify their own negative karma. Yeah. So what you are absorbing is just kindness, goodness. It's not something religious that, oh, but only Buddhists can kind of absorb the Buddha. It's not like this. What you're absorbing into you is to nourish our potential of kindness, goodness, love, compassion, and wisdom. This is all to nourish that Buddha potential, that what is called the Tathagata Garbha, that all beings have. Okay, then we do the dedications, and that's it. So the sadhana itself, it will take about an hour, where we do some, meditations, kind of visualization. So it's not silent meditation. It's really active meditation, reflections, visualization, and how to say, recitations. And especially this kind of thing, even though maybe, oh, the medicine is disgusting, but good thing I do have medicine. Do you understand, more or less? I know that many people that I see who are nodding, of course they understand, because they know the practice. They have done, it's not the first time that they do it. What about other people? If you do have questions, we have like 3 more minutes. You can definitely ask your question. Or you know what, we leave it on, because now is anyways a break. But you can put your question in the chat, and then I'll look at it. And if it needs to be answered before the session, then I answer it before the session. If you kind of ask me what is karma, of course, I won't be able to answer it, because otherwise it takes a few hours to really answer properly. Just know that when we do an action, there is a result with somebody else, but that's not the important thing. What is important, it creates a potential that we will have 2 results from it. One is we experience the same thing or even bigger. The other one is we create the habit. Okay? So this is important to know about karma. And the Buddha is not controlling us and say, oh, this is a bad person, she's always doing bad actions. No, it's like the Buddhas have compassion. Same as a mother, when you see your child doing stupid things that exactly will result in suffering for the child, you feel sad, you feel compassion. You might be frustrated, but you're not angry. You don't want the child to suffer. You're never going, oh, he or she is doing that, they will suffer, they will learn from it. Well, you never do this with your children. You try to stop them and try to help them not to repeat these actions. Okay, so shall we do like this? If you do have questions that have to do with the practice, you can put them in the chat. I'll have a look at them. And otherwise, I'll see you in 15 minutes. Is okay? Danny, is that all right? I mean, this is the schedule. Maybe it's a bit tight.
Yes.
I think it's okay, 15 minutes, and because now listening to me was quite relaxing. So then now we can do the practice then. So then next session you will have to work yourself.
Okay.
Okay, good. So we meet again in 15 minutes. Thank you. Necessary. Okay. I will guide you through it. So you don't necessarily have to read, except for the things we kind of recite together. If you don't want to recite anything, absolutely fine with me. Don't feel under stress that you have to do things you're not ready to do or you don't want to do. And so like that. So just make yourself comfortable, and first, check your body. Is it comfortable? Is it relaxed? Feel how the breath is going in and out, and how, again, how wonderful it is that we can breathe freely. We take it for granted, and we only start to appreciate it when we can't breathe anymore. So try to wriggle a bit, try to, really relax every part of your body by thinking that when you're breathing out, the body becomes totally open, maybe even bigger, open, spacious. Yeah, that we should not forget that actually our mind is spaciousness. We always forget, we make everything so tight and so small. Our mind is totally limitless. The body also, if you look at quantum physics, is not as solid as we think. Try to feel at ease, you know, thinking that, oh, if I would have a physical sickness, like the antidote would be the painful or bitter or disgusting or have a lot of side effects. This is mental, this is mental cure here. So there's none of this. Doesn't cost anything. All I have to do is trust the methods of the Buddha. And then you check your own motivation. Why am I doing this? Why am I here? Am I kind of concerned about the actions that I do now, that they will result in something that I will definitely not like in the future? Or am I just dismissing it? Nobody saw me. Oh, therefore there will be no punishment. But anyway, karma is not a system of punishment and reward. It's just a natural law of cause and effect. So you check your attitude while you're here. Then again, if we can produce this concern about our future, I want to be really well. I want to not meet with these difficult situations anymore that I can't cope properly, that make me depressed or angry or frustrated. And why do I not want to meet with these situations? Because I want to be of benefit to others. And no exception. So nice. We don't have to choose. It's everybody. I want to benefit everybody. So if you can produce that kind of attitude, that's fine. But first you have to check yours. And then you can make it maybe a bit bigger. And then also to generate a certain kind of appreciation. You could do just about anything today because I guess it's still holiday. So you're off, you're not working. So, but to really appreciate that you decided to be here and to do this purification practice, which might not be so pleasant and not be so wonderful and, inspiring or whatever as going to the beach or seeing friends and family for the moment, but it will definitely be beneficial for you, for your friends and family in the future. So we appreciate our own attitude, making the effort of doing these things, having trust in the Buddha's teachings, because we study Buddhism and we practice it, and we have already discovered that it works. And to really appreciate the attitude of wanting to benefit all sentient beings. Man, it's such a noble attitude, even if we don't succeed, or even sometimes we fool ourselves and we think we're bodhisattvas, but still there's a lot of self-concern. It doesn't matter. We just have to nourish it again and again and again and again with the thought, I want to benefit all sentient beings. Wow, it is so wonderful. This is what will help the world. We all have the interest of generating a good heart. Isn't that wonderful? And you're part of it. And then also to make the whole thing a little bit lighter, to think about emptiness. You know, that on the conventional level, yes, there is actions that then create potentials that result in suffering. But in emptiness, there is no such thing that exists from its own side. To understand the way I see the world, that's my mind producing it. And as long as I'm under the control of my unhelpful emotions, there will be suffering, no matter where I am. Subtle suffering of impermanence, that everything falls apart all the time, gross suffering of physical, mental pain, and the old pervasive suffering that we carry with us, the potential from being very happy to just the conditions, sometimes not even the conditions changing, but in general, the conditions changing, and tuck, we're in the suffering of pain. Like me falling. I was very happy 1 second before, because I was moving to this place. But also I have to say, through the practice, I remained very calm, and we just did what we needed to do. So always include emptiness in your compassion meditation. Otherwise it becomes too heavy. And it's only compassion when we know that suffering can end. When we know suffering has causes, that's why we can end it. Okay. So if you have a guru, you think about your guru, who is the actual Buddha. Otherwise, you just visualize the Buddha in a three-dimensional, in a body of light, like not solid. And we maybe see the difference when we just visualize the Shakyamuni Buddha. Maybe not so much happening in our heart. When we think about our guru in his or her human form, even if they're not alive anymore, but the way we knew them, then boom, heart opens. There is this appreciation, devotion, joy, trust. So this is the attitude, taking refuge, feeling that we're going into a safe direction by following these methods. And even if we don't follow the advice, but we have the advice, we can change any moment. Knowing what to do is important. Then not being able to do it at the beginning, don't make such a big fuss out of it. Don't get tense about it. So why do we know these methods? Why do we trust it? It's because we have these inspiring examples that we call our gurus, which are, as a matter of fact, Buddhas. Until we make a supplication, we ask for inspiration. So you can either recite it with me or you can just listen. I take refuge in the Holy Guru, the essence of all Buddhas, the original grantor of all holy teachings and Lord of all supreme beings. Please, O Guru Buddhas, enable me to unify my mind with the Dharma and to succeed in practicing Dharma for receiving the graduated path. May nothing prevent my receiving this path. Receiving meaning that it becomes one with my mind. Please bless me to take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha with all my heart, and to practice virtue and abandon non-virtue by realizing that I have received the perfect human rebirth, which is highly meaningful for many reasons difficult to obtain, but perishable, transient, and fragile, decaying in the shortest second because of its changeable nature. Thus, my death is definite, but its actual time is most indefinite. Karma is most profound, Even in 1 hour, I create more negative karma, bringing rebirth in the lower suffering realms than positive. Even the smallest negative action has so many suffering results, and the ability of karma created to bring its result is never lost, even after more eons that the ordinary mind can imagine, unless it's purified, like what we do now. And the sufferings of the 3 lower realms are very unimaginably unbearable. So we can, picture the 3 lower states, the hell beings, where there is incredible suffering of heat, cold, pain. There's no Red Cross, there's no hospitals, there's no vaccines, nothing to help. If you can't relate to these other dimensions of hell realms, to think of countries like Syria, Afghanistan at the moment, Africa, totally controlled by people that have not much sense of how to make their subjects happy. And just, armed conflict all the time, all the time, all the time. Would you want to be reborn there? Then the hungry ghost, where is constant lack, never being able to find whatever we want to find, just to satisfy our basic needs. And we're not afraid to be reborn in that place, even though, death can occur any moment. And then the other of the lower states is animal realm. Well, we can think, if you have a cat or a dog, oh, I'll be cared for and all this. But what about all the other animals that we kind of create, the humans create in order to eat in these, really unbearable conditions? It's so horrible. The calves being taken away from their moms. Or wild animals also have problems surviving. A lot of fear in the animal realm and total stupidity, not being able to understand what's going on. Would you really want to be reborn as a cat? Even if you're well cared for, how would you do with your Dharma practice? How would you attain enlightenment? So by thinking like this, it closes the doors to the lower states, then the middle scope. By practicing in this way, I might be reborn in the upper realms, but I will still have to experience unlimited samsaric suffering because of uncontrolled delusion and karma. Please bestow on me the ability to realize fully the evolution of samsara from uncontrolled rebirth to death and rebirth, so that I shall follow night and day the threefold training of the path: supreme conduct, supreme concentration, supreme wisdom, the main methods to release me from samsara. This has nothing to do with religion. Supreme conduct is meaning ethical conduct, sometimes called higher. Supreme concentration meaning having a mind that can stay at its object, not being distracted. Supreme wisdom, seeing things as they are, not being caught up in illusions. This will liberate us from being born again and again and again. Even if we're born in Switzerland, it's a wonderful country. I'm not denying that. But still, there's a lot of mental suffering, fear, depression. People losing what they like, people not finding what they want. People have problems of being too fat, too thin, too tall, too small, neighbors making noise, these kind of things. It's also problems. So we want to get out of this. Then the highest scope, which is bodhicitta. But as each sentient being has been my mother, and as all are in extreme suffering, please grant me blessings to bring success to all by renouncing the perfect self-happiness of nirvana and practicing the bodhisattva's deeds with bodhicitta, exchanging myself with others on the basis of the equanimity meditation. Thus I shall have no sorrow in experiencing the samsaric sufferings of all other sentient beings, for no matter how long, having trained my mind in the general path. becoming aware of how each life, and we had like billions and trillions of lives before. In each life, or in most of the lives, we have parents who cared for us. And as I just said, you know, so many beings had to learn something to do their jobs properly so we can enjoy the life we have. So we want to repay that kindness. What's the best way for us to attain enlightenment so we can lead them to that state as well? And so that's the sutric path, which takes like 3.5 countless eons. And now we practice Tantra because that's the quick path. Because we take the result into the path. We visualize ourselves as a Buddha, you know. So please grant me blessings to be able to follow the quick Vajrayana or Tantra teachings by feeling sentient beings' sufferings very unimaginably unbearable for even the shortest second as my own, and to attain the enlightened state of a Buddha immediately at this very moment by keeping my ordinations and the orders of the Guru with greater and better care than anything else in my life, for the sole purpose of enlightenment. Somebody has got the microphone open. So maybe you can just close everybody, and then I also open again, if you want.
Yes, Luciana, I see. I try to mute her.
Okay, there's no problem. You know, if you're getting upset about this, then you really have a problem. So it's okay, you know, people forget sometimes. Okay, so first now we apply, in order to attain enlightenment, we need to apply power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, in all past lives. It is good to contemplate the various actions that you remember having done, and then to regret all the things as well that you don't remember. So why we do this? Because we don't want to suffer in the future. So you might have some heat coming up because you remember how you have harmed others or treated them not in a nice way, or, you know, made fun of them and all these kinds of things. That's okay. This kind of heat, it shows us that something is wrong. So don't run away from it. This is the immediate result of a negative action. If you think about your kind actions, there's no heat arising. You're happy, you're open, you're spacious, but don't get too tight, okay? Think, okay, well, I've done that. I admit, and I regret. Try to feel this regret. Kind of, I shouldn't have done this. It's not skillful, it's not helpful, and it's not what I want. I don't want to be a harming person. I want to be a benefit. Don't get stuck in the past, okay? Really, to feel the heat or the tightness or the tenseness, and to think, okay, great, this is what I want to purify now, especially my tendencies. And of course, the result also that I don't want to experience. But we can already put in, if I do experience suffering results, I know my mind has created the potential for this in the past by doing unskillful actions paired with kind of what is called afflictions. Emotions like attachment, anger, aversion, greed, miserliness, jealousy, self-concern, and the root of it, the clinging to a real self-existent I or me. We bring wisdom into this whole process of karma. So then the next one is the power of reliance, or the power of the object, sometimes it's called. So we take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. This time we don't visualize the Buddha. Buddha kind of changes into the aspect of Vajrasattva. And don't forget, you know, the Buddhas are always there. So if you feel lonely, the Buddhas are always there. They always want the best for us. But because our mind is so thick, we don't realize it. So visualize Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. If you can't visualize clearly, don't worry. He is your guru, if you have a guru manifesting in this aspect for your benefit. He's made of radiant, blissful white light, transparent. He's sitting cross-legged on a white lotus, which although born out of mud, I mean, the lotus is unstained by the mud, just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, but is unstained by them. His face is radiant and beautiful. His eyes are long and narrow, peaceful, and full of love and compassion for us. Try to feel the effect when somebody looks at us in such a way that they only want our best. To feel seen, to feel heard, to feel accepted exactly the way you are, with all the kind of things that we do that are not helpful. His mouth is red and very sweet. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell, which represents wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. Their being crossed represents the union of these two, which again symbolizes enlightenment itself. The development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. So the main thing is to really feel the presence of this enlightened energy above your head and to imagine that it is a mirror image of your own potential. And then we say these refuge formula. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Third time we can do in Tibetan. Sangye chödan soki chonam la chancho bardu dani kyapso chi dagi chinso ki pesonam gi drola penchi sangye drupasho. And then we totally open up our hearts and think of all sentient beings, not one excluded, right? No need to make choices here. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. Wouldn't that be wonderful? No more suffering. That's why may they all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. So it's two different attitudes. One is happy when they're happy. The other one is more active, feels something in the heart, wanting to liberate them from suffering and causes of suffering. And taking responsibility, thinking this is why I'm doing this practice. May all sentient beings never be separated from the happiness that is free from suffering. So we know everybody has Buddha potential. Everybody can be happy, everybody can be free from suffering, because it's not the nature of the mind. It is just added through ignorance, wrong views. And then this is where we also have to start. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from desire for friends and hatred for enemies. Then the 7-limb practice. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind. I present every type of offering, actual and imagined. I declare all my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in the merit of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until the end of cyclic existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for living beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of all others to the great enlightenment. And we offer a perfect universe so that we kind of have this confidence that everybody has Buddha nature and there can be a perfect universe. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. Then we give away everything that hinders us from being able to manifest the pure land. The objects of my attachment, aversion, and ignorance, friends, enemies, and strangers, my body, wealth, and enjoyments without any sense of loss, I offer this collection. Please accept it with pleasure and bless me with freedom from the three poisons. Nidam Guru Rana Mandalakam Niryatayami. If this part doesn't make much sense, don't worry. You will, as you continue with this, you will learn what it means. So then you visualize that light goes out of Guru Vajrasattva's heart, which is at your crown or in the space in front of you, to all the 10 directions, hooks the energy of body, speech, and mind of all the enlightened beings of the universe. This is just so that we become aware that we're not alone. This light comes back and dissolves into the heart of Guru Vajrasattva, who now embodies all their energy. He's even more brilliant and blissful than before. So it's like a very, very strong light up there. Yeah, like the sun, radiating in all directions. And as the light goes in all directions, what you can also do, it touches each and every sentient being. So then again, we think about others, not just about us, and transforms them into Vajrasattva. Okay, then the third power is the power of the antidote or the action. So first we purify the body. So Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose very forcefully from his heart. It enters your crown chakra, pours into your entire body, filling you completely. It keeps coming and it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, which pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left. Feel completely purified. And we recite the mantra at the same time. So we do it once aloud, and then I just continue silently, or you can also just recite Om Vajrasattva Hum. Yeah, whatever feels comfortable, but don't forget the visualization. The light that comes either from Guru Vajrasattva in front or sitting at your crown goes into goes into your crown here, and then kind of flushes down, and it just pushes out all the negativities to your lower doors of actions of killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. And again, try to feel how the body becomes lighter and more transparent and not so heavy. And we purify kind of karma, killing, like being born in a state where there's a lot of violence or having like sicknesses all the time, being killed, dying young. All this, it comes from killing, stealing, that we pour, that our crops don't grow. That's very difficult to grow crops, is the environmental result. And sexual misconduct is that it's very difficult to have harmony in a couple. Partners cheat on us, they leave us, and so forth. Think that you purify all these potentials, but definitely the tendencies to repeat these actions of killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. No Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Deno Patishta Tidyo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Savasidi Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Sucha Me Chintashiyan Kuru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Savatata Mame Muncha Vaja Bhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Pe. Again, don't worry about the pronunciation so much if it's your first time. Just do your best. And also, when you recite silently, you would hear, but not your neighbor. So it's good to recite, not just in the head, but also to recite. So it means you move your lips. Om Vajrasattva Samaya. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Deno Patishta Didyo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Savasiddhi Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Suchami Chitta Shiyam Kuru Hong Ha O Bhagavan Sava Vajramame Muncha Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Pe. And feel happy that your negativity of body is purified. Really imagine that now it is not possible that your body could do anything but benefit others. No way that it can harm. And try to really want, to feel, I really want this. May my body only benefit, having lost all its tendencies to harm. And also us, who do these practices, I think about the body, we don't have to worry so much, because that one is subdued. So we can see we can subdue these three doors: body, speech, and mind. So the body, I think we're okay. We're not going around killing humans and even animals. We're not going around stealing, and we're not going around doing sexual misconduct. Now the speech is more tricky. So then during the second stage of the visualization, Guru Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra again. It pours forcefully into your crown, filling your entire body. This time forcing the negativities up to the top of your body, like when water filling a dirty glass forces is not right. The dirt that comes to the top and forcing them to overflow. Sorry. When water filling a dirty glass forces the dirt to come to the top and to overflow. All the negativity of your speech, all the gossip and malicious speech, useless speech and lying and whatever, all is purified by this powerful nectar, leaving your body through the top of the orifices in the form of inky liquid disappearing into space, not one atom left. So you do this visualization, we just learn to move the winds, the energies first down, then up, and then the third one is into the center. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Deno Patishta Didyo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Savasiddhi Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Suchame Chitta Shiyam Kuru Ha O Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vashamame Muncha Vashava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajrasattva Samaya. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Deno Patishta Tityo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Savasidi Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Sucha Me Chitta Shiyam Kuru Ha O Bhagavan Savatata Mame Muncha Vaja Bhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Pe. Again, this part's so important. Feel happy that your speech is now completely purified and that no way you could do anything but say something beneficial or useful or appropriate or kind to others. And again, you really need to want to be able to do that so we can live our values spontaneously. So that the same way that now our body is subdued, the mind will be subdued. Then is the purification of the mind. Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends this time light from his heart chakra. This powerful white light enters your crown chakra, fills your entire being, and just like when you turn on a light in a room, the darkness is instantly dispelled. So too, just as the light hits your heart chakra, the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all the anger and violence, the depression, resentment, jealousy, and bitterness, and so forth, are all instantly dispelled, not one atom left. And recite the mantra as you visualize this. And you can visualize actually that, around this Buddha nature, this goodness that we have in the heart, there's a thick black kind of like a stone, like cement. And then the light just, whoosh, it just hits it and shatters it into 1,000 pieces. And then the light fills your body and your body becomes also a body of light and the light shines out. Yeah, so that very tight holding on to an I, to a me, to a self, that very strong wrong view is like symbolized by this black, very strong, like kind of concrete material. But the light of compassion is much stronger. And as it hits it, like an explosion, it just disappears. And then the light fills your whole body. And then that light shines out of your body. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Deno Patishta Tityo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Savasidi Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Sucha Me Chitta Shiyam Kuru Ha Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajrama Me Muncha Vaja Mahasamaya Sattva Om Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya. Om Vajrasattva Samaya. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dino pratishta tityo me bhava sutokayo me bhava supokayo me bhava anurakto me bhava savasidi me prayacha sarva karma sucha me chitan shiyam kuru hao Bhagavan savatata gata vashama me muncha vasha Mahasamaya Sattva Om Pe. Again, feel happy that all your delusions, which are the cause of the harm we do with our body, speech, are totally purified, gone, finished. And that no way is there any space in your heart now for anything but love and kindness, forgiveness and wisdom, bliss and compassion. See yourself as the person that you really want to be. Now, this is, the part of taking the result into the past. We already think, now I am this person. I can live my values spontaneously. I have the wisdom, the compassion, and the skillful means, which are my nature, to benefit others in order to repay their kindness. Okay, the last one, this time imagine the Guru Vajrasattva sends light again and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprint of negative energy from your mind. So it's like once you remove the garlic from a jar, you still need to remove the smell. So this is the very subtle imprints that we have for, oh, this is separate. No, we have to make it one. The very subtle imprints that we have for omniscience that are getting purified now. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dino pratishta tityo me bhava sutokayo me bhava supokayo me bhava anurakto me bhava sarvasiddhi me prayacha sarva karma sucha me chitan shiyam kuru hao Bhagavan sarvatata gata vashama me muncha vasha Mahasamaya Sattva Om Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinopatishta Tidyo me bhava Sutokayo me bhava Supokayo me bhava Anurakto me bhava Savasidi me prayacha Sarva karma sunchame Chitan Shiyam Kuru Ha O Bhagavan Savatanta Mame Muncha Vaja Bhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Pe. And feel completely purified and feel very happy. And Guru Vajrasattva is happy too. If we would be more thinking like this also, because when we know that we can make somebody happy that we appreciate, it makes us very happy when we do the right things. But just think, your Guru, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, all the other gurus, all the teachers who teach Dharma, when they see that we sit down to do purification practice, they're very happy. They're happy for us. So then it makes us happy also knowing that we make them happy. And the Buddhas, they see everything we do. They're always with us. Not just kind of like we are with people that we like. We still don't see what they're doing. But the Buddha is omniscient. We just made them very, very happy. Isn't that wonderful? Now we need to make a determination here. Yeah, so the fourth step in the purification process, such an important one. Same as the first one. Yeah, it's the determination not to harm with our body, speech, and mind again. Without this, we keep doing the same old things. So the determination to not harm again is like a beacon that guides your body, speech, and mind in new directions. So now you can, we can think, whatever I am able to abstain from easily, there's no danger I'm going to kill a human being or do sexual misconduct or whatever. You think I will abstain from that for the rest of my life. Other things that I have more difficulties with, you decide how long, you want to be really mindfully living, being careful, being aware. And the moment you see that, the Shempa, the pull arises to do something unskillful, you said, no, I made a promise. And this promise protects us. It's like the vaccine that protects us from the virus. So you decide which tendencies you want to change. Tendencies that you are unhappy about. Then it can be, 1 minute, 10 minutes, 1 hour, the whole day. You decide. And this determination not to do it again is what gives us the strength to turn ourselves around. And very happily, Guru Vajrasattva, your own Guru, manifesting as the Buddha Vajrasattva, solely for your benefit, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown chakra. So again, if that doesn't feel comfortable, you just have Guru Vajrasattva in the space in front of you, just melt into light. Like when you have a very strong light bulb, you turn it down and zoom until light goes. But it's good to just have him dissolve into bright light, and then through your central channel, it goes in your heart chakra. So the energy of white light comes to your heart chakra, merges with your own very subtle consciousness, becoming oneness with you. Your body, speech, and mind become totally oneness with Vajrasattva's holy body, speech, and mind. Because it's like my nature, my Buddha nature, Vajrasattva's Buddha nature, the Guru's Buddha nature, the Buddha's Buddha nature. It's like water, all the same. All of one in one essence, all the same nature. The only problem is mine, or the only difference, mine is not developed yet. And by absorbing the developed potential or the developed nature of Vajrasattva into our own heart, nourishes our Buddha potential, makes it grow. And we think about emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I. There's no creator of negative actions. There is no creating of negative actions. There is no negative action created. In emptiness, everything is just like space, luminous space. So meditate on the ultimate nature of your mind. You can have a visual picture, but that also doesn't exist from its own side. It's also empty. But you can visualize the empty sky without clouds, without horizon, without anything. Just unlimited space, luminous. And this is our nature. Everything that arises now, through thoughts or maybe sounds or smells, everything that arises, just recognize it like the clouds in the sky. They're not the sky. They're just the clouds, just projections of the mind. Don't identify with it. As Chituma Tenzin Palmo says, our problem is we identify with the wrong things. We identify with the clouds, with what we see, hear, touch, think, and so forth. We're not identifying with the sky, with the knower, with the Rikpa. Then we dedicate all the merit that we have created by doing this practice together for the benefit of all living beings. Through the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the precious body mind not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. And then because we haven't realized emptiness like Manjushri and Samantabhadra, we think because we can't really dedicate with emptiness because we don't know, or with bodhicitta because we haven't realized it. So we think we dedicate like them. So it becomes the perfect dedication. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra to realize things as they are. Also, I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by the victorious ones thus gone of the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble bodhisattva's deeds. Then the long life prayer of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So again, from the bottom of your heart, just him and all the other teachers, wish them a long, healthy, stable life. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful Chenrezig Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Okay. Well, at the end of the next session, we also do Shantideva's prayer, then the dedication prayer, but I thought that's fine. So if you come to the next session, it's more or less, not just more or less, it's the same. Maybe with a bit less explanation and more meditation, more time for mantra recitation and meditation. If you just can only join for this one, thank you very much for joining. One Vajrasattva mantra, it's of so much benefit. So just instead of going, oh, I can't participate, or even worse, saying, oh, no, I don't want to participate in the next session. That's not very skillful because it doesn't, it creates aversion for practice in your mind. But, don't be sorry that you can't participate. You think, so wonderful that I participated in this session. Yeah. So that we end the session always on a positive note. And we nourish our positivity instead of kind of again and again going into the negative. Okay. If you have questions, you can maybe ask. If not, we make a break until your side will be 12 o'clock. Okay. Looks like everything okay, Donnie, isn't it?
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. Fantastic. So have a good break and maybe see you again at 12. If not, see you another time. Shana Tova. And enjoy the day. Enjoy your life. It's like so important that we learn to be joyful even if it's difficult. Okay? Because then we can help the world. Okay, see you later, maybe.
You as well.
Bye. Okay.
No.
Perfect. Then again, we check our motivation for doing purification practice, making sure it's not just for ourselves. Also, not just for ourselves doesn't mean for the others and not for me. It means for everybody, including me also, because we want to be well in order to be able to benefit sentient beings. And if you're a Buddhist, you think about, these wonderful methods of the Buddha that we have in order to purify. We don't have to wait until everything kind of ripens. And so we develop this appreciation, this trust, and especially the appreciation for so many sentient beings that we are totally dependent on for our survival, for our happiness, for our well-being. So then the best way to repay their kindness is by purifying my negative karma so I can finish these tendencies of self-concern, aggression, aversion, anger, attachment, greed, jealousy, pride, miserliness, and so on, and then attain full awakening in order to benefit them. If full awakening is too far away or whatever, just, at least open up your heart and think, may whoever hears, sees, touches, thinks about me, talks to me, may be of benefit to them. Then we do this glance meditation on the graduated path. I take refuge in the Holy Guru, the essence of all Buddhas, the original grantor of all holy teachings, and Lord of all supreme beings. Please, O Guru Buddhas, enable me to unify my mind with the Dharma and to succeed in practicing Dharma for receiving the graduated path. May nothing prevent my receiving this path. Then we think that we don't want to end up in the lower scope. Please bless me to take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha with all my heart, and to practice virtue and abandon non-virtue by realizing that I have received the perfect human rebirth, which is highly meaningful, for many reasons difficult to obtain, but perishable, transient, and fragile, decaying in the shortest second because of its changeable nature. Thus, my death is definite, but its actual time is most indefinite. Karma is most profound. Even in 1 hour, I create more negative karma, bringing rebirth into lower suffering realms than positive. Even the smallest negative action has many suffering results, and the ability of karma created to bring its results is never lost unless it gets purified like we do now, even after more eons than the ordinary mind can imagine. And the sufferings of the 3 lower realms are very unimaginably unbearable. So to prevent being reborn in the lower states is especially not following habits of doing unskillful actions. Like really guarding especially the body and the speech from harming others. These are the main causes for rebirth in the lower states. Then the middle scope, by practicing in this way, I might be reborn in the upper realms, but I will still have to experience unlimited samsaric suffering because of uncontrolled delusion and karma. Please bestow on me the ability to realize fully the evolution of samsara from uncontrolled rebirth to death and rebirth, so that I shall follow night and day the threefold training of the path, supreme conduct, supreme concentration, and supreme wisdom, the main method to release me from samsara. Again, this is the moment where we become aware that even though we have many happy moments in our life is quite comfortable. We have the Dharma, we have the Sangha, we have friends, we have entertainment, we have culture, but still there's so many challenges. There's so many difficulties that we day by day we have to deal with. And it doesn't leave us time for much else. This is the thing. And this is what we call the human existence. So we definitely have maybe not so much the suffering of pain, but definitely the suffering of change. And then as we grow older, the body decays, we become slower, all our capacities that we have kind of diminish. And it's not satisfying. Also, we have high values that we would like to be able to live, but then again, we fail again and again and again. Now, thinking like this is not to make us feel bad about ourselves, but it's to be very realistic about our human existence. And as we can see with the coronavirus, there's nothing that is reliable, Who would have thought that for 2 years I cannot come to Israel? Nobody. Was sure, okay, I come every year and that's it. And now, different. Also, you cannot go wherever you want to go. Nothing is reliable, This whole thing about being secure, reliable, permanent, and all this is just illusion. So that's the middle scope. Even though we're born in a very good existence, but still, we want to be free from under the control of our unhelpful emotions. Because they do control us. They're stronger than our wish to be kind and of benefit and not being self-concerned. But we can do something about them, and especially now with the highest scope, with bodhicitta. But as each sentient being has been my mother, and as all are in extreme suffering, please grant me blessings to bring success to all by renouncing the perfect self-happiness of nirvana and practicing the bodhisattva deeds with bodhicitta, exchanging myself with others on the basis of the equanimity meditation. Thus, I shall have no sorrow in experiencing the samsaric sufferings of all other sentient beings for no matter how long, having trained my mind in the general path. You have this attitude, then physical suffering, absolutely not important. It's just pain, but it's not suffering. And the mental suffering will not be there anymore, even if you're not yet fully awakened. If you have the attitude, wanting to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all. Nobody can make you upset. Nothing will frustrate you because you have understood everything is just a dependent arising, and on the level of emptiness, nothing exists. Then in order for this to become really fast, this is the Vajrayana, the Tantra vehicle. Please grant me blessings to be able to follow the quick Vajrayana teachings by feeling sentient being sufferings very unimaginably unbearable for even the shortest second as my own, and to attain the enlightened state of a Buddha immediately at this very moment by keeping my ordinations and the orders of the Guru with greater and better care than anything else in my life, for the sole purpose of enlightening all sentient beings. So the power of regret again, by really thinking why we are doing this. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this week, in this month, in this year, in this life, in all past lives. It is good to contemplate the various actions that you remember having done And then to regret all the things as well that you don't remember. We have had numerous lifetimes, so we don't think, oh no, I never killed, or I never did this, I never did that. Well, we don't know. Yeah, so we go like, just in case I killed, I see it as unhelpful. I see it as negative. I see it as harmful. And then all the other 10 negative actions, like killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, the 4 of the speech, lying, divisive speech, harmful words, and idle gossip. And then the 3 of the mind, covetousness, like envious, harmful thoughts, ill will, and especially the wrong views of thinking that everything exists the way that it appears, and there's a real, separate, independent, permanent I, or me, or self. So we think, whatever I have done under the influence of these, what is called kleshas, afflictions, I regret, because I understand it's not helpful. And it's not guilt and shame, it's compassion for ourselves, because we don't want to suffer. So we stop doing these things, and whatever we've already done, we regret. We take refuge, generate bodhicitta, and then do the action of reciting the mantra with the visualization, and then the power of determination. Then everything can be purified. So the power of the object is having refuge, taking refuge, meaning when you take refuge, you stop voluntarily harming others. This is one of the biggest things by taking refuge. And then generating bodhicitta. So these are the 2 steps of the power of the object, because we do negative actions with the holy objects, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and with ordinary beings. So you visualize above the crown of your head, or if that's too difficult, in the space in front, this is okay. Guru Vajrasattva, manifesting in this aspect for your benefit. Is made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus, which although born out of the mud, is unstained by mud, just like our unlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, but is unstained by them. His face is radiant and beautiful. His eyes are long and narrow, peaceful, and full of love and compassion for us. His mouth is red and very sweet. His hair is black and held up on a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell, which represents wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. Their being crossed represents the union of these 2, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. So sometimes, especially the picture we have, he has his bell at his left hip, and the doje, the vajra, in his right hand at the level of his heart. So sometimes he's depicted like that, but it doesn't really matter. Just by seeing these 2 symbols of the bell, which represents wisdom, or the wisdom of emptiness, and the vajra, which represents compassion, bodhicitta, reminds us of our own potential. So the main thing is to really feel the presence of this enlightened energy above your head or in the space in front, and to imagine that it is a mirror image of your own potential. This comes with the confidence of knowing the qualities of the Buddhas. The Buddhas are always present. But for us, they're always only present when we think about it. It's like the radio, The waves are always there, but if your radio is not on, then there is no perception. Even the waves are there. So the compassion and wisdom of the Buddhas is always around us, it's always with us, it's always looking after us. But if we're not ready, if we're not open, then nothing will come. So try to feel that. Again, you know, knowing that your internet kind of machine is on, so you know that you can use it, you know it's there, you know it's present, even if your computer is off, a little bit like this. So you don't need to feel anything, you don't need to, you know, be in a special state, just know Vajrasattva is on my crown. And do it with a totally open heart, with joy, with gratitude, feeling safe, we take refuge. So for that also we can, you know, you have Guru Vajrasattva, but because it includes bodhicitta, you can think all sentient beings are sitting around you. Your mom is at your left side, your dad at your right side, the way you remember them if they're not in their body anymore. And people you dislike, or people that dislike you or make you nervous, uncomfortable, or you make them nervous and uncomfortable, you put in space in front. People you do like, friends, family, you put behind, and around us are all mother sentient beings. One thing is that then we remember that we're never alone. We're just separated through walls. That's all. Like, you know, optical obstacles. And the other thing is that it reminds us that we want to do this for all sentient beings. And it makes the heart really big and really open. Doing this practice in order to benefit all sentient beings. I don't need to choose. It's very simple. Everybody. So we do it twice in English, then once in Tibetan. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye chodan soki chonam la chancho bardo dani kyapso chi dagi chinsa ki pesonam gi chola penchi sangye chupasho. And the four measurables. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. The wish from your heart for everybody to have happiness and the causes of happiness, and then taking the responsibility. May I be able to contribute to that. And we ask Guru Vajrasattva to inspire us or to purify our tendencies that prevents us from wanting all beings to be happy. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. So that's a bit more active. Yeah? So you can maybe somebody that is not too close to you, but you know is suffering. So you can feel that compassion there. There's no attachment. The wish to help if you can. But also not to be in total despair if you can't help. That attitude that makes us push into action, at least asking, can I do something for you? Then we try to widen that for all sentient beings, to feel for all sentient beings like this, but not with attachment, because if it's attachment, it's too heavy. And we get totally depressed because we can't help. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May I liberate them from suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from the happiness that is free from suffering. That's the joy of knowing everybody can be free from suffering because everybody has Buddha nature. And this Buddha nature, we can never lose, no matter how covered it is. If water is there, then there is wetness. No matter how much, tons of earth is on top of the spring or whatever. I will lead them to that state, which is free from all suffering. Then equanimity, may all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from desire for friends and hatred for enemies. I know I have to start with myself because I still have attachment and aversion and indifference. So I can't just say I will lead all others to that state of equanimity. I have to think I will work at this myself. And secondly, in practice, to have enough positive energy so that this will work. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind. I present every type of offering, actual and imagined. I declare all my negative actions accumulated since beginning this time. And rejoice in the merit of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain. Please remain until the end of cyclic existence. Please remain until the end of cyclic existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for living beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of others to the great enlightenment. Then we offer perfect universe. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. We give away everything that hinders us to be a Buddha, the objects of my attachment, aversion, and ignorance, friends, enemies, and strangers, my body, wealth, and enjoyments. Without any sense of loss, I offer this collection. Please accept it with pleasure and bless me with freedom from the 3 poisons. Idam Guru Ranna Mandalakam Niryatayami. Then visualize light goes out of Guru Vajrasattva's heart to all the 10 directions and hooks the energy of the body, speech, and mind of all the enlightened beings of the universe. The light comes back and dissolves into the heart of Guru Vajrasattva, who now embodies all their energy. He is even more brilliant and blissful than before. So again, this step, if you really know that Vajrasattva is all the Buddhas are Vajrasattva, you don't need to make it. But it's for us to understand this fact and also that all the Buddhas are always present. So otherwise we forget. Okay, so first is the purification of the body, which is killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar like coming out of a hose very forcefully from his heart. It enters your crown chakra, pours into your entire body, filling you completely. It keeps coming and it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of Keep liquid which pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left. Feel completely purified. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Deno Patishta Tityo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anuratto Me Bhava Sarvasiddhi Me Prayachan Sarva Karma Suchame Chittashiyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vashama Me Muncha Vasha Mahasamaya Sattva Om Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya. Om Vajrasattva Samaya. Om Vajrasattva. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatishta Titima Suttakama. Anurakto me bhava sarasiti me prayatsa savakama suchama chitanchi improvement. Bhagavan savatata kata vashamani mucha vashabhava. Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum. Then feel very happy that your negativity of body is purified. Really imagine now that it is not possible that your body could do anything but benefit others. No way it can harm, and we really need to want that. And also believe that we have the potential to do that, and most of us have subdued our body. We're not voluntarily harming others. When we reach out, when we touch somebody, it is all the time just to be of benefit or just to help. Then is the purification of the speech. Guru Vajrasattva happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra again. It pours forcefully into your crown, filling your entire body. This time, forcing the negativities up to the top of your body, like when water filling a dirty glass forces the dirt to come to the top and to overflow. All the negativity of your speech, all the gossip and malicious speech and useless speech and lying and whatever, all is purified by this powerful nectar, leaving your body through the top orifices in the form of inky liquid, disappearing into space, not one atom left. So here we think especially about lying, divisive speech, harmful words, hurtful words, and idle gossip or useless talk. No Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Deno Patishta Tityo me bhava Sutokayo me bhava Supokayo me bhava Anurakto me bhava Sarvasiddhi me prayacha Sarva karma suchame Chitta shiyam kuru hong ha 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 ho Bhagavan sarvatata Vajramame muncha vajabhava mahasamaya sattva om Vajrasattva samaya manupala Vajrasattva dena pratishtati jnana sutta. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dino Pratishta Tidyo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarvasini Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Sucha Me Chitta Shiyam Kuruhu Ahao Bhagavan Savatata Vashamame Muncha Vashabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om. And again, feel happy that your speech is now completely purified, and that no way could you do anything but say something beneficial or useful or appropriate or kind to others. And again, we really need to want that. In the purification of the mind, Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends this time light from his heart chakra. This powerful white light enters your crown chakra, fills your entire being, and just like when you turn on a light in a room, the darkness is instantly dispelled, so too, just as the light hits your heart chakra, the darkness of the negativity of your mind, or the anger and violence, the depression, the resentment, the jealousy and bitterness, and so forth, are all instantly dispelled. Not one atom left. So again, you can visualize all this is kind of like a big black crust around our heart and around our Buddha nature. And as the light hits it, it just shatters it into millions of pieces and it just disappears. And then your body, you know, like from this light in the heart, kind of it comes out, fills your body and comes out of your body and going all directions and helping and doing things. Then we have the capacity, we have developed our Buddha potential, we have the capacity to help others. No Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Dino Pratishta Tidyo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Sarvasini Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Sucha Me Chitta Shiyam Kuruhu Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Savatata Vashamame Muncha Vashabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajrasattva Samaya. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinobatishta Tidyamabhava Sutokayamabhava Supakayam Sarasidi Mibraja Savakama Sutame Chidanjirin Kuru How Bhagavan Savatata Vashamami Muncha Vashabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Then again, feel happy that all your delusions, which are the cause of the harm we do with our body and speech, are totally purified, gone, finished, and that no way is there any space in your heart now for anything but love and kindness, forgiveness and wisdom, bliss and compassion. And we purify the most subtle imprints that are the obstacles for omniscience. This time imagine that Guru Vajrasattva sends light again, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprint of negative energy from your mind. And then we just think that, like, when the smell is still there, even though the garlic is gone, but the smell is still there, then that also totally disappears. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinopatishta Tidyo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Savasini Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Suchame Chitanshiyam Kuruhung Ha O Bhagavan Sarvatata Vajramame Muncha Vajabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Peyam Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya. No Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinopatita Tidyo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anurakto Me Bhava Savasidi Me Prayacha Sarva Karma Suchame Chitanshiyam Kuruhung Ha O Bhagavan Sarvatata Gata Vashamame Muncha Vashabhava Mahasamaya Sat Aum Pe. Then feel completely purified and do feel very happy, as Guru Vajrasattva is happy too. So then it's the power of determination. You think about all the tendencies that you have, that especially today, because it's the beginning of the year. You think, especially today, I will pay special attention not to give in to the pull towards, following these habits. And then if you succeed, you're very happy in the evening. If you don't succeed, you say, okay, then I need to do more purification. We can't have the illusion that it's like just doing it for 1 or 2 hours, that it purifies all these previous lifetimes. So we keep repeating again and again and again. Same as when you have a cloth that is very dirty, and we need to wash it again and again and again until it's totally clean. If we give up at the beginning, it will never be clean. But if we just continue trusting that it can be clean, then at one point it will be clean. So think about this, what you want to, don't be too kind of courageous. You think the ones that you have problems with to keep the promises, then you think, okay, this I keep for so and so and so many minutes or hours or days. And other things that you find it easy to abstain from, you can really think, from this I will abstain from the rest of my life. And again, to feel very happy that we make this kind of promise so that we don't have to feel bad about ourselves. No more guilt, no more shame. Just a spacious, open heart, peaceful, at ease. It's a good word, sababa. When you are ethical, your mind is sababa. If you create negativities, we get tense, nervous, feel bad, no happiness. Okay. Then very happily, Guru Vajrasattva, your own Guru manifesting as the Buddha Vajrasattva solely for your benefit, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown chakra. So again, if that feels uncomfortable to absorb Vajrasattva into you, then don't let him just melt into light. But what's the harm? Don't forget, Vajrasattva is not a religion, it's not a god. It is a manifestation of a fully awakened mind who only wants the best for all sentient beings and has the skillful means to lead us there. But follow your own heart. Don't do anything that you don't feel comfortable with. If you feel comfortable, he melts into light. This energy of white light comes to your heart chakra through your central channel and merges with your own very subtle consciousness, becoming totally oneness. Your body, speech, and mind become totally oneness with Vajrasattva's holy body, speech, and mind. We don't have to believe that we are bad, but it's good to start trusting that we are good people because that is our nature. That's natural. That's normal. All the rest is fake. And then we seal it with emptiness by thinking, in emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no creating of negative actions, and there is no negative action created. In emptiness, everything is just like space, luminous space. And like this, you meditate on the ultimate nature of your mind, visualizing just uncompounded, luminous, unlimited space. Like the totally empty, clear sky without any horizon, without any clouds. No limits, no obstructions, no end, no beginning. Then we do the dedication for the benefit of all living beings. Through these merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the precious body mind, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase more and more. So also for those who don't know why we dedicate this, one thing is we reaffirm for ourselves why we're doing this. The other thing is if we dedicate, it can't get lost through anger. So this is why it's important to dedicate. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra too realize things as they are, I also dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by the victorious ones, thus gone after 3 times, so I might perform the noble bodhisattva's deeds. Long life prayer for His Holiness Dalai Lama, all other teachers, In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chandresic Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. And this beautiful dedication by, it's from Shantideva's 10th chapter, but it's a short version that's been done by His Holiness Dalai Lama. May all beings everywhere plagued by sufferings of body and mind obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness, and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power and may people think of benefiting each other. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then, may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. And to end it, we do the multiplying mantra so that the merit becomes much, much bigger. Chom dende de shinche pa cha chom pa yan da pa so pe sange nam pa na tse ki ga po la cha se lo chan chun sempa chempo kuntun sampo la cha se lo tayata penchagriva va bodani so om duru duru jaya mukhe so tayata penchagriva va bodani so Om Duru Duru Jaya Mukhe So Tayata Penchagriva Va Bodani So Om Duru Duru Jaya Mukhe So Tayata Bodani So Om Duru Duru Jaya Mukhe So Tayata Penchagriva Va Bodani So Om Duru Duru Jaya Mukhe So Tayata Penchagriva Va Bodani So Om Duru Duru Jaya Mukhe So Chom Dende De Chinche Paja Chom Paya Da Pa So Pensan Penduria Kiga Pola Cha Se Lo Chom Dende De Chinche Paja Chom Paya Da Pa So Pensan No Wada Mulam Tanchera Tun Tun Pega Pola Cha Se Lo. Due to the power of the blessings of the eminent Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the power of the infallible dependent arising, the power of the pure special attitude, may all my pure prayers succeed immediately. Then this one is actually not, we should go like here, but just so for you to know. So the power of regret purifies the experience similar to the cause, which, let's say, for killing is to get killed, to die young, or to get sick. The power of reliance. Refuge and bodhicitta purify the environment result, which for killing would be living in a place where food and medicine are not conducive to good health, or where there's a lot of violence. Then the power of the antidote, in this case, the visualization and recitation of mantras, or whatever action one does as the actual antidote, purifies the throwing karma that causes birth in a lower realm. And the power of the promise or determination not to do the action again, purifies the action similar to the cause, which in this sense is the worst result. It's the habit to keep killing which propels one back into the lower states again and again and again and again. Okay, well, thank you very, very much. What a good way to start the year. I think it should be, you can do this in the evening or you can do this in the morning. You don't have to do it so long. You don't have to do it for an hour, but just visualize the purifying effect of Vajrasattva. Generate the 4 opponent powers, because once you use them, you don't need so much time also, until you can really, you feel the regret, you feel the determination. They feel all a bit different. So, yeah. So I was very happy to see you all. Really, thank you very much. Wait, I'm going to the second panel here. Luciana, would you like to turn on your camera? Maybe it's not so good to call people who don't have the camera on, because sometimes they're not there anymore. Because I know with me also, I do this. Ah, there she is. She's in the car.
In the car.
How are you?
Ah,
Fine.
Yeah, and how is
Here is Violeta.
Amalia. How is Amalia? Yeah, this is Violeta. Amalia is there. Oh, so there was no more. There was no more incident. So that was the only time that was the.
Yes, I
Good.
saw your arm.
My arm.
I didn't know.
Oh, it's okay. You know, this is a small thing. This will heal. This is absolutely no problem.
No.
Okay.
Great to see you.
Huh? Bye, Luciana.
Great to see you.
Yeah, it's nice that the kids were mantra also. So that's a good thing.
Yes, they are listening all the time.
Yeah.
In the background.
Perfect. Okay, please can you send this lesson so I can print it out? I'm sure Danny can do this. That's okay. I think it's not on the website, the text. Maybe it's already on the website. It's not. Okay, Dalit says no. Dalit has a camera. How wonderful. Although it was nice to see the Medicine Buddha, but it's nice to see you as well.
I have the text.
So maybe then, maybe you can put on the website if you want, or you can send to people.
Yes.
Or you can actually wait. I can just, if you have time, if you are not so much in a hurry, I can, I could attach it. How do I do this? Oh, because I have too much.
Just come in chat.
Yeah, in the chat.
And Losang, you come in chat and you do for everybody.
Okay,
and
I got
then,
everybody. Okay, then
wait a second. I'll see how it goes. And then you just drag.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just drag it inside.
It's okay. I have it on the computer, and now I need to find it. Documents, text zoom. Here, oh no, it's not the right one. Wait, I have to go on back. Oh gosh, sorry.
Actually, I have it also. I can send it from another.
Well, I got it in a minute, I think, because I opened the wrong thing. Here, Israel 2021. I found it.
The chat, the text is in the website.
Yeah. Anyway. Now it's on.
Yeah, it's okay.
Whoever wants
very
to read what Irit is saying, because not everybody is here anymore. And so the best is in the website. But in the meantime, if you want to do another session today, for example, it's in the chat. So you can just download it. All right?
It's already in the website.
Oh, it's already in the website. Okay. Okay, sometimes, you know, it's a bit difficult, but it's nice. Thank you that it's already in the website. So now the group is a bit smaller. So if you want to say something, you're very welcome to do that. If the group is quite small, sometimes a bit chaotic, but Adriana, hello. Also Hila and Tomer and Liora and Ronnie and Ruti is there, even though it's kind of written in Hebrew. Don't think I can read Hebrew. It's just I read Valda. Dalit, Galit, then somebody else I can't read, and I don't really recognize you. Yeah, exactly, that's you. Who are you?
Sorry, I'm Einat. Yes, I changed it to English, but now it's again in Hebrew.
Okay.
Follow you a bit. I watch the videos on YouTube, and I practice. Try to do it every day, and I hope I can follow you much more from now on.
Okay, then we have Irit and Ophira and Yael. Are you still in California or in Israel?
Mute.
I'm in Israel.
You're in Israel. Wow.
Yeah, and I was waiting to be in your course, but I will be on Zoom on Yom Kippur.
Okay, on Yom Kippur, and then for the Bodhicharya Avatara, I think we start end of September again with the 7th chapter. And we will also do some Tara practice during Sukkot, which is pretty much the same as this. But it's with colors and with elements and no specific delusions that we purify. So this is during Sukkot, I think, and then the last.
There are also people from Shantideva like Tal and Slil.
Oh, yeah, right. There's Tal and Nitzan was there this morning.
Yeah, and Slil from our Dharma group.
Okay.
And Tammy.
Tammy Horowitz, of course.
Tammy and Itzik is through his grandchild, I think.
Okay, Itzik, yeah, hey, where are you? Hi.
Here it is.
Yeah, right. Woo. It's so nice to see you. Of course, it's not the same as being there. I think we can be really grateful to
Galit and Dalit.
So if the Dharma Friends or Shantideva, if they're actually putting on events that you can go, I really recommend you to go, because I saw it. I was the last 4 days in this group. We did Tara practice. And it makes a big difference to see the people from the Sangha again personally is really nice. And even though most of them I didn't know, but then I got to know them in 4 days. And so if Shantideva or the Dharma Friends are putting on events like, in Famonash or in Meditation Factory, please do go, because it really refreshes your motivation, I think. And to feel the connection, even though Zoom is okay. Zoom is very practical, because now we also have people in Bern, for example. They don't want to come anymore. They just do it on Zoom.
Yes.
But it's such a big difference. It really is. I saw this the last 4 days. So do go. You can do both, some Zoom, some there.
And Graz is very nice. So next time maybe we should come to Graz.
Yeah, it was a very nice retreat. I tell you, miracles happened almost. Because, there's this statue, there's this stupa in Graz. We did a 21 Tara retreat, actually. So, but I'm talking about another retreat here. So anyway, so the stupa needs to be renovated. It costs 100,000 euro.
Wow.
So, it's a small group. So how are they going to renovate the stupa in Graz? During the sessions, during the retreat, somebody from the city of Graz phoned Manfred and said, "Oh, well, because it's in a public place and we think it's important, and so the city of Graz has decided to take on the costs of the renovation."
Wow.
Yeah,
Almost miracle. Yeah.
it's almost like a miracle.
Yeah.
And actually, more things happened, so it was really great. So Manfred was very happy, the one from the group. So he said, "Oh, Anila, can you come again?" I said, "Yeah, but I can't promise that it will happen every time."
His Holiness was coming to Graz so many times.
Yeah, right, because the mayor of Graz has his personal friend. So that's why he invited him. And then there's this group, which is Manfred, who put a lot of effort into organizing the Kala Chakra and making that stupa and having the center up in the mountains. Yeah. So yes, please do come. We're thinking about doing it maybe in springtime again. But it's in German, but you do speak German, don't you? Okay, so you have time to learn. Okay, so I wish you a very good and happy day and a good
Shana Tova. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova, and maybe see you for Yom Kippur. We'll see.
Yes.
Adriana will bring some snacks for Yom Kippur.
Yeah, sure. I will put a nice table there.
Exactly. Okay. Take care, and thank you very much for being, and see you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Anila.
You're very, very welcome. Bye.
Yes. Hope it happens again in Israel.
Recovery.
Yeah, me too. I keep dedicating, so I want to be coming. No,
yes,
not
we hope
over.
to very
Okay.
much.
Danny.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.